Literary Hype. I am Stephanie, your Literary Hype woman, and we're mixing it up a little bit today. Usually you hear me talking to authors, but today we're switching it up a little bit, and I'm going to talk to an actor about their process in bringing characters from graphic novels and real-life people from nonfiction books to life on the screen. Today's actor is best known for her role on The Boys. We're talking to Colby Minifie. Oh my goodness, guys, I found a kindred spirit in this woman. She is so much fun, and she's done a variety of book-based projects, so I think you're really gonna enjoy this conversation. You're most known for a character from a graphic novel from The Boys. How do you go ahead and read the graphic novels before you get involved in projects?
It's a good question. I haven't historically. Part of that is that so often every graphic novel thing that I've done, every graphic novel inspired thing that I've, thank you. I do know how to, I do know English. Barely. Every graphic novel inspired thing that I've done, my character has not been in the graphic novel. And so I tend to just focus on the thing that I'm about to shoot, because I think often I get like a little confused if I read too much stuff that doesn't agree with the thing that they've written that's going to be on the thing that I'm going to be acting. So like I just try to focus on the source, on the like material that I have in front of me. But that being said, I really should, because it's inexcusable that I haven't yet.
You've done several projects that are graphic novel based. What is it about those characters and those shows that keep drawing you in?
It's what I get hired to do. And I think a lot of that is like, I came up in theater and like do a lot of theater. And so I'm a little big in front of the camera. And so they're like, crazy person. Great. Let's hire her and put her in this like heightened world, you know, which I'm really grateful for. I have to like get better at just being subtle, but I'm more like subtle right now.
So you were also in Radium Girls, which is also based on a book.
Yes. Wow. Impressive.
Can we talk a little bit about the difference in approaching those projects being graphic novels and fiction versus something that's based on a real life story?
It was like a real historical, like terrible thing that happened. And so it's based on real people. And so I wanted to honor those real people as much as possible by doing a lot more research and it's not that, it's interesting because it's not that like I don't do research for the other stuff. It's just that I can have a little bit more like autonomy in portraying the graphic novel stuff, because it's like a character that's never been written or is not based in the source material, you know, not founded in the source material. So, but with Radium Girls, I was like portraying a real person, and so I wanted to like just really make sure that I did her right. And in that, I like read a whole bunch of books and like did a bunch of research on radium, and that shit is really scary and super fucked up, and like what those girls went through was like really terrible. And it's also like, you know, says a lot about the industrial evil that we have in our time, and that we've had historically, and that doesn't really change, but just is hidden in different ways in this current culture. So yeah, that was a fascinating project to work on. I can't believe you saw that movie. Thank you.
I'm nothing if not a history and a book nerd, so
yes,
there we go. You're also an audiobook narrator, which is super fun. You've done 2 audiobooks that I've seen.
Yes.
How did you get into those, and what was that process like for you, going from screen to just your voice?
That I loved doing that. So because I have red hair, I've had to learn how to do an Irish accent. Yes, high five. Never stop. Not that we could ever, but you know.
I've tried. It doesn't work.
So I've had to learn how to do an Irish accent, and they needed an Irish accent for this book, and they hired me. I have a voiceover agent who was like, "Oh yeah, Colby knows how to do this," and they hired me to do that, and it was fascinating because I was like, "This is the greatest job. You spend 8 hours for 3 days reading out loud, and like you have to be very careful about your voice and like not over tiring your voice." and then they needed like another book for, with an Irish accent in it, and I was like, I guess I'm the Irish accent audiobook girl. And then they hired me for another one, but I got a vocal hemorrhage. I was doing a play at the time, and one line, I was doing this, this show, and one line came out like this, and the next line came out like this, and I was on stage, and I was like, what the fuck do I do? And the next day I went to go record another audiobook in an Irish accent, and I was trying so hard to do an Irish accent, and they were like, pause, Colby, we're just gonna send this to the producer, you sound great, but like we're just gonna send this away. And they were like, you can't, and it turned out that my vocal cords were bleeding heavily. It's fine. But so that was the last one that I did, and I haven't done one since. And I'm kind of like, guys, where are the audiobooks? I really like this job. Like, get me in. But,
is there
just
a
matter of
book
time
that you want to do the audiobook for?
Okay, so I just read this book called Old Flame by Molly Prentice, and I'm in love with this book. I think it's so beautiful, and I would love to do the audio version of that. I don't know if my voice is right for it, but I'll work hard to make sure that it could be. I just think it's such a beautiful book about sisterhood and womanhood and friendship and motherhood, and it's a really I love her writing. So that's my plug.
Since this is Literary Hype, what other books are you hyped about?
Let's see. I'm about to read Young Mungo by the guy who wrote Shuggie Bain. Do you know that writer? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really loved Shuggie Bain. So I have that in my bag. I'm reading a book called Stolen Focus right now about how our brains are being totally robbed of focus right now by social media and the way that our world works at this current moment. That's fascinating. What else? Since the pandemic, I was voraciously reading books before the pandemic hit, and then I just got I don't know what happened in my brain, and I don't know if a lot of people have said this to you, but I feel like it's not abnormal that people just got have struggled reading since then.
It was very weird how in the pandemic, some people reading went way up, and others suddenly lost their ability to read.
Yes, yeah, I had quite a steep fall off of reading in my life, and I'm really trying to get back into it. And I think one of the reasons why I was reading so much is because I said to myself, I'm going to read every book that I own and I'm just going to go through them all. And I don't care if they're bad or they're good or whatever. I'm just going to read them all. And that was I was really plowing through them. And then I started War and Peace, and I was the first 3 chapters are in French, and I was like, fuck this. And I really want to go back to read War and Peace because I really do love these Russian translators of Vahir and Volohovsky who really know how to do it right. I really like them, but I just need to get it up for it. I just need to focus, and hopefully the book on focusing will help me read War and Peace. Yeah, it's the flipping back and forth between the Russian and the French translation in the back of the book that did it for me. I was like, this is too much work. And it was the first month of the pandemic. So I think it's just the situation in which I was trying to read it. I think I got to go back into it, though.
How do you balance reading for fun with also reading for scripts and researching for your characters and making sure that you're still enjoying the reading when you do it?
That's a good question. Lately I've been reading a lot of scripts, and so I'm sit down and I read it in one go, in one sitting, so I could kind of get the whole deal. And that is work. I'm sitting at home and I'm working, right? But it's fun because my job is so fun. And reading when I'm on the train or on the subway, that's when I'm reading for novels and stuff like that. Because that's the best way to spend time on the train. But I need to get better at when I'm going to sleep, reading before bed, because I think that when I'm really into a book, that's what I want to do when I'm going to sleep. But when I'm not into a book, I'm watching the TV, you know what I mean? What are you reading right now?
I am reading so many things. I'm reading Lady Codebreaker. I'm reading the Wartime Book Club. I am reading Finley Donovan Rolls the Dice. My audiobook. Yeah, I read a lot.
Do you do like multiple books at once?
Yes.
How do you do that?
I'm a little ADHD.
I have ADHD. I just got diagnosed.
Different moods.
Oh, shit.
So like Finley Donovan is like romance mystery mobbishness, but also really funny. And then you've got the seriousness of Lady Codebreaker. It's based on World War II real woman. And then like audiobooks for when I'm driving. And it's like, or what else I've got to do for author interviews that are coming up. And so those get priority. I've got a lot of books.
Okay, that makes me hopeful because I just got diagnosed with ADD. I do have some hyperactivity in there, but like I was like, I'm realizing that I can't, I'm hard on myself if I can't focus on the book. And it's like, okay, maybe it's just not, it's like maybe it's
DNFing is not a bad thing. It is not holding you. Move on because it is just going to make you miserable and then you're not going to want to read it all.
And you can come back to the thing. It doesn't mean that it's over forever. Because I get hard on myself. I'm like, you just an asshole that can't focus. And it's like, no. I actually just need to like give into what my brain wants to do.
You gotta embrace the waves.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Hey, thank you. You've inspired me. I got to get back in there.
Yeah.
Cool.
Bye, Gil.
Bye, Gil.
Thanks again to Colby for taking time out of her Indiana Comic-Con schedule to talk to me about her work and book-based projects and reading. I was really not expecting things to kind of go off into like reading and ADHD and all of that, but I'm really glad it did. She was so much fun to hang out with and talk to. If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Click the little bell to turn on notifications so you find out whenever the next video is coming your way. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.